cyberspace. First, I want to say a big thank you. Appreciate for user Clockwork Ocean who have replied and foreseed this problem to be solved on the forums. The issue was solved, and the end result is this project that uses Unreal Engine for presentation purposes. While the laptop is running off the power, I'll try to quickly run through what you have to do to get this done. What I get now is, when I hit play, I've got this procedural orbit around the modeled object that I have generated while assembling or transcending the vision from the papers to the 3D. The model was done in Blender, assembled. This is the hydroponic system that runs on. They get some water running in, get some plants in, and this universal plus is this hex structure that allows it to be structured and stacked and put together, and the weight of the water in as well as this iron cage allows it to be stacked and contain food supplies that can be grown within the either narrow premises like in bunkers or used as the site kind of scene in a park to enhance the look, or kind of like tech park. It's big, I think it's big, but more work has to be done. What I got is the widget on the left side, and so despite of the fact that I have to work on the presentation material, I can now simply generate any level and basically create a level and open it and procedurally talk about my presentation. If I hit X-Raw, it's gonna open another level. Apologies for the side noise, there's some crazy children. I'm gonna open another level that depicts another part of the vision. It will later be enhanced with the text and the text indicators, but prior to proceeding on collecting information and enhancing its potential, I'm just simply going to show that I now can simply toggle between different levels that contain parts of the vision that I'm going to talk about. And I can simply toggle back and forward and generate as much as I want backup material, high intense visually rich material for my presentation. I can navigate it, I can orbit around it, I can control it, I can click on it and change between various parts of the scene. I can zoom in, but on the touchpad is a bit complicated. I can switch the point view on different aspects of it. I hope you can get the point. Something like that. Is a simple automatic orbit around. Now, to make this done, I had to do a few things. The final challenge was to get someone to point me out on the right solution to my mistake, or to fix out the error, and that was done by a user named Clockwork Orange, to whom I am grateful for his attention, because despite the fact the matter was simple, he got me through this issue that we ran through for multiple days. For the project to be assembled, I had to followed this tutorial on creating a data-driven UI with UMG that allowed me to generate the widget menu on a right that I hit and toggle between the slides. The way it works is in that manner. I got the menu widget, and this is the code related to it. I'm not going to walk through what it is and how it does it. I have no idea about it. But when I click on each of the widgets within, it just gets a transition called events, transmerging spaces, shit like that. And it is defined by this data table, which allows me to generate 17 rows, for example, hit play, spawn them, and toggle between them. The only thing I have to do is just simple get level called warm house that I already have it. I'm just going to delete it. I'm just going to get one warm, call it warm house, enter, call the name indicator variable warm house here, and if I hit play and hit the level called warm house, it's going to open that level. So you can model anything that you want and then use it later, right? You can disassemble, assemble, try. I want to go through and try to get the various events to be activated further as a sub-widget potential, but no, it's not about it. I got the menu widget, right? You can see the code here. I got the item widget individually defined by this data table. All I have to do is just get the new row, rename it, and make sure that the level name from this variable is assigned and matches the name of the level that I already get in my content browser. Obviously, you can see that this data table was based from the struct, and the struct is right here, and it's not as essential anymore. What's important is the pawn that automatically orbits around, and it's simple. I had to follow another chain of tutorials from dev enabled called strategy camera project setup that allows you to simply get a new level, and switch between various actors on the scene. I can hit them and focus this one, or any of the actors defined here. You get my point. The code is, you can access the code from there. You probably do not need that, but it's kind of a nice fill up to fuel your presentation. In future, as a next updates, I'm gonna try to model properly each of these X blocks using the Blender. As you can see, if I zoom in, it has the inner pieces of the one that get the roots to contact with the water container. However, there are no pumps, there's no water, and for that I'm probably going to need to access the fluid simulator and try to make this case transparent. It's not a single mesh. It is assembled from Blender, yet it is not as detailed. It will allow me to get the 3D printable scheme to be generated. Yet if I hit the block, you can see that there are various aspects to it. It is not as detailed, yet it's good for stage 1, right? I'm gonna probably add a sequencer here and try to move the whole kind of like a drawer outward and initiate the sequence of water simulation, toggling of the lamp, and add more modeled meshes for the pumps, and try to see what I can do. Yeah, the block, if it's 3D printed from plastic, is not strong enough, as this is 3 meter long and it's kind of like a bath of water. It can be flowed, and kind of waterfalls can enable this whole like system to and water to flow from one of these blocks to another, and even then separately uh, generating the pieces for this hex kind of wrap, the hex block. If I can get a bench and generate a bench and allow people sit on it and generate a river and kind of like a park, even if it is within the bunker, I can stack as many of them. If this shell is made out of metal, and water will allow it, water and iron will allow it to withstand the vibration, and the structure will allow it to kind of fortify itself. There's this potential. For the presentation purposes, I would want to generate whether not a single level for each part. I would like to initiate the sequences that will allow me on each of these widgets. It's just I'm kind of like getting all the information what's left in my brain into here to kind of hex block 1, sub 1, sub 2, sub 3, right? So I want to have another menu under each of these widgets, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, that will allow me to engage or initiate the sequence or event, a certain trigger. However, it will be hard to brainstorm them to be procedural and defined within data table. Therefore, it's kind of tricky and have to be thoughtful. However, I would really want triggers to make animations to be activated, and that will allow different skeletons to proceed their various animation stages, like as a part of it, right? I would also want to have a simple 3D widget with the 3D text that is going to face the camera as it turns around. I would want to have two spheres and a cable with and a lightly thin and massively lit cable that will connect to each of these blocks and define its names. If it's not a block, if it's, for example, an animal I'm gonna observe, or its behavior, something like that. I think that having this on black kind of background will allow this to be displayed on AR. However, it's not best for that, yet you can get this on your mobile phone to be AR. For the presentation purposes in the schools, I would want pixel streaming and allow remote connection to these kind of lecture piece of the fragment for the educational purposes, and people to connect to this piece, and teacher who's gonna lead the lecture or the presentation and be able to activate various substages of each level, right? And speaking of potential, it's all about UI and the lobbies and the power and the code developed by Unreal. But I'm not sure how to do it, so I'm just gonna try to play around and see where I can take it for. But if I have the Diablo-like teacher's live face stream over here, and the students that gonna be able to see who's in a group on this lecture, and the kind of event that you access from a website, and the lobby that is generated by three seekers who seeks to learn what is it about, if it's used for presentation of your business idea, if it's used for kind of lecture to teach that this is the X block, or this is piece of grass, or this is piece of stone, or even if you learn the vocabulary, it's all connected in my mind. Yet I'm just happy that it's got fixed, and I'm gonna see what I can take it further. The UI solves everything, and the potential and power of it is huge. I'm not sure how to all depict it and get people attention for it, so I'll just tell you how I did it, and if you want you can use it. I cannot get you this project because it has the brushify grass, and I like this grass. However, you can simply access the uh, Quixel bridge, and instead of a grass you can just use the rock and place it in rock. Then you can compile it after C++ into the project, exit project, back it and send it for someone to kind of manually access. You can get a pixel stream access to it because it will be limited by your Wi-Fi connection, and I have no idea how to set up the pixel stream from the global remote connection to your website, shit like that. But you can access 3D models here. I'm probably gonna get next and set up quick 3D text blueprint with text indicator actor that I'm gonna manually attach and define that this is X block or various aspects of the scene. So thanks again, Epic, for allowing me to get my vision to be presented and shared. Especially I'm grateful for the target attention by Clockwork Ocean, rank Hero ZOF from the Epic Forum, and the material provided and tutorials by the growing industry. Peace.